so it didn't make any sense. And quite frankly, I think just being over these last 2 days and seeing how it worked, it's been a blessing in disguise. Because I think that these guys aren't ready for football. They're ready for walkthrough football, which is what we've done, but they just need fundamental work, and we needed to get our eyes on them as a coaching staff, and Brad and his department to be able to see their movement skills, particularly some of these tryout players. And so it'll be a little different. There'll be a little individual. We'll have a walkthrough at first. We'll have an individual. We'll have a special teams period where they move. Today it'll be shorter than the last 2 days, and then we'll finish with an actual 7-on-7. So really, the 7-on-7, which you guys will be able to see, will be the first competitive period that we've had in 3 days with the rookies, and it'll only be 10 plays, but just to see them move a little bit, but it's been. I tell you what, it's been good. It's a good class. It's they're excited to be here, and it's just good to watch them move around. And we're not trying to. I told them this: nobody's going to make this team over these 3 days, and that's not what it's about. Now, it may help you get invited to training camp, but it's not. You're not going to make this team right now. So I wanted them to be smart. Some of these guys haven't played in 2 years, and so we thought it was important to just be smart about how we practiced, and that's what we've done. But it's a good crew. So I'll open this up to questions.
All right, John, start us off.
Hey, Dan, good morning.
Morning.
I was just curious for yourself, as the weekend has progressed, have you had a brief moment or moments of reflection as you've led this team that, hey, this is my first time leading this group of players as the Detroit Lions head coach?
I guess walking off, a couple of people have said it, just, hey, man, it's your first one in the books, and I haven't thought a lot about it. It does feel good. I think more than anything, it's to be able to get back on the grass has been exciting. And I said this, I was talking to some people earlier. I'm like, man, I'm not kidding you. I don't know who was more excited, the rookies or the staff, because the staff is giddy. I mean, they look like a bunch of little kids out there running around, out there in the grass, man. They're excited. Everybody's cutting up, having a good time. And then, when the horn blows, they're getting after it. And it's good, man. It's a good scene. It's a good vibe. It's a good feel. And these guys are learning.
And then one more for me. How much of a setback is it that Panay's not involved this weekend?
No setback. That's not going to hurt whatsoever. He'll be here. We'll get him in probably early this week. And he's been in the Zoom meetings. So schematically, he's on it, and he'll be fine. He'll adjust quickly. It's not going to be any setback whatsoever.
Appreciate it, Dan. Thank you.
Yep.
Justin Rogers.
You kind of alluded to it, Dan, with the 5 tryout players. I'm just curious, big question this week, who's quarterbacking these guys?
Yeah, that's a great question, huh? Let me just say this. We did not bring in a quarterback. Obviously, we like the 3 quarterbacks we have on our roster right now. We feel like we're in a good spot there. And so with that would have meant that we would have had to sign a tryout player as a quarterback. And there's nothing wrong with that to get through a practice. But there again, we didn't feel like we were going to be able to do traditional practices, where you're doing an actual team. So with that, why waste one of those spots on somebody that we knew wasn't going to be here? We would rather use one of those spots, and let's bring in a tight end. Let's bring in a defensive back. Let's bring in let's get eyes on somebody we think can make this roster. And so with that, we've got some coaches on this staff that actually can throw a little bit. So we've used their arms somewhat. I would say this, there's been a lot of icing after practice, been a lot of heat pre-practice, and but we're getting it done. They look pretty good. They're getting some good balls, I can tell you that.
I didn't know if Brunel was trying to make that Tebow comeback.
No, he's good. And look, we've got a couple. He's been able to help us a little bit. Elle's been able to help us, and actually Tanner, one of our assistant coaches, has actually been really the one kind of steering the ship a little bit. He's done a good job calling plays in the huddle with them, and then throwing routes on air. So it's been really good.
And just one more on Panay. I'm just curious. I don't know what you can say to his medical status, but is this a teaching tool at all for you with the other players? I know education with the vaccine has been really important from an organizational standpoint. Is this just one of those things that you can use and say, hey guys, this is it's still out there. We don't want guys missing time, and it's just something to consider.
Yeah, I mean, you can, but yet any of the guys that have been around here, it would probably, I'm sure it helps a little bit with the rookies, but all the vets that were here last year, they understand. I mean, they were part of all this. They know exactly what it is, man. You test positive, and just from a football standpoint, man, you're out. You're out. And by the way, if you were close to any teammates, they're out. And so there is validity in what you're saying. It is teaching. However, man, I'm not even like, that's not the approach I really want. My approach is let's give you the data. Let's give you, man, the true facts of what all this is, what the vaccination means, how it's made, how it affects the body, what it does to you, and just educate our players on it. That's what I care. And then let them decide what they want to do. That to me means more than, hey guys, you'll be out and then you could wipe somebody else out. I mean, I think they're very aware of that. And look, we went through some of that at New Orleans last year. So I hope that answers your question.
It does. Thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
Go to Eric Woodyard.
Hey, Coach, I swear I'm parked in the parking lot. I'm here at the practice facility.
Yeah, sure. Driving. That's what you're saying. Nobody can tell, though. You may be just hauling ass down the road right now. What's up?
So for you guys as well, man, you talked about the rookies. I know you're prepping the rookies, but I just want to know your thoughts. When you saw the schedule, man, you guys got the 6th toughest schedule of the league. Just what were your thoughts when you saw the schedule released for you guys and just the toughness behind it?
Yeah, it's funny because every year, look, my son, he loves every year when the schedule comes out. He calls me. He's been doing this ever since I've been coaching, and he's like, man, let's go through these games. What do you think? What do you think about the opponent? Well, let's talk about it. This schedule is one of the most difficult. And it's, at the Saints, you've had success, and every year, man, you're playing. There you go. You got Green Bay, you got San Fran, you got, all these teams that are the top teams in each division because that's where you finish. And yeah, there's some difficult things that come up, difficult teams, but you guys know as well as I do, you'll have an idea of the ones that are going to be good year in and year out. But then, man, there's a number of teams that it looks rough right now, but they may not quite be the team they were, or maybe they have some injuries. So I get it, particularly early, man. There's some opponents in there, they're tough. They're going to be tough. I mean, look, there's no secret. San Fran's not going to be some breeze. I mean, neither's Baltimore. And then we're going on the road for our division opponents, Green Bay. So, yeah, but, I mean, it's also pretty freaking exciting, too. It's like, you know what? You weather the storm early, and all of a sudden, man, you're feeling pretty good. And we'll get tested early. And I know we're not ready for it right now, but, we got a long time between now and September. And so, honestly, when it first came out, my first thought was, I told Rod, I was like, man, when you get it, let me know. Let me know. I want to hear it. I can't wait to find out. And so the staff's the same way. I mean, this is a challenge, man, and our team's going to look at it as a challenge. This could be fun. I think it's exciting we get to open at home. That's kick-ass, I think our fans are going to be going crazy. I think it's going to be loud as hell, and I think we'll give them hell, But, hey, it's exciting. I'm fired up.
All right, Coach, good luck.
Thank you.
We'll do 3 more, starting with Dave.
Hey, Dan, some of those teams may not have their quarterbacks. They may end up trading them to somebody else. Who knows, right? No, I just want to ask you one other thing on the quarterback thing, though. Is there anything that you have found that you can't do, not having a quarterback in camp this week?
Actually, for the way that we set up practice, no. We've been able to do everything that we wanted to do, We've gotten the work done because really the football, up until what you guys will see at the very end of practice, 7-on-7, everything has been walkthrough. And so the scheme side of it, offensively and defensively, has literally been walkthrough, man. We get a good, call it 30 minutes of walk after special teams. And then from there, it's individual work. So the coaches got them. They got them in their individual drills, man, working. L's got the receivers and AP's got the D-backs and, Hank with the old line and so forth. And so any throwing, either the coach does it who has the position himself or Tanner or Brew or one of them will kind of jump in and just throw a couple of balls here and there. So, no, we really haven't been restricted whatsoever.
Gotcha. You mentioned the receivers. I did want to just get your first impressions on Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't know if you've figured out kind of, he played outside and inside at USC. If you figured out where you can use him yet, both places, but just general impressions of him so far this week.
Yeah, I would say it's too early to gauge that, whether we think he could go outside and inside. I mean, I still think there's hope with this kid as far as that's concerned, but I would say he is not disappointed. That's probably the best way to put it. He has not disappointed us at all. It's I think he's been as advertised, and that's a good thing. And so listen, it's a good group, And as you guys know, I mean, we've got about 6 of our guys that are back from the team last year. They were practice squad: Elliott and McCray and Pittman and Thedford, Alizé Mack, who was part of the team 2 years ago. And so, these guys and Tom Kennedy, he's another one. So these guys are part of it too. They didn't have to show up, but we invited them to come, and they wanted to be here, and they're eligible for it. And I would tell you what, man, all of those guys have impressed us. They really have. I'm glad they showed up, man. They did themselves a favor. I would tell you that.
And then last thing, just because I don't know when we'll get you next, but a couple housekeeping things. Where do you stand on, joint practices, I guess, or any of those in the works for the summer, and also staying home or going away for training camp? I know Sean went to West Virginia a couple times. So do you have any just general thoughts on those two?
Sure. Well, first of all, we will stay here. I do. I would, my thoughts right now are that I would rather stay here. And this is our home base, and this is where we get our work done. Not that won't change over the years, but right now that's what we'll do. And then the second is I actually did reach out to some coaches, and I'll be honest with you, I got in on it a little bit late. And, so a number of the coaches that I called had already had things set up, so we struck out on that. And so I think it'll just be us. We'll be competing against each other for those 4 weeks of camp.
Okay, thank you.
You bet, Deb.
Tim Twentyman.
Hey, Dan, you talked about the excitement of getting on the grass again, but what about the excitement of getting this coaching staff together and getting a look at, how everybody operates and how you guys function as a unit, and just the excitement that getting that together?
Well, it really is good. It's better than good. It's great. And I told Brad this yesterday look, we're not there yet. We're not full pads. We're just with the rookies. But I know this. When you're a head coach and for example, we're doing our walkthrough, we're going through the scheme side of it, and you see something and it starts to burn at you a little bit, like, all right, I'm about to, I'm going to clean this up. That's the best way to say it. I'm the head coach. I'm going to clean this up. And you go to clean it up, and all of a sudden here comes Lynn, and he's all over it. Or it's coming up, and there's AG, and he's all over it. And here comes Deuce, and he's all over it. And it's like, whoa, all right. That's how you know you got the right guys, because, and they're even little details, man. The position coaches, the same thing. And so I know we're only 2 days into this, but when you start seeing and you're looking for the fine details of things, and you're getting ready to say something, and you have a coach who jumps in and he's already ahead of you on it, that's where you know you got the right guys, because they see it like you do. And the chemistry's been outstanding. It's everything that I thought it would be and hoped it would be. And I can tell you this, man, it's we're not in pads, and we're as guilty as anybody of ramping up the tempo, but we're trying to keep them down. Listen, it's a walkthrough, but I can tell you this, I got a feeling you guys are going to get a show in training camp some days, because I already know this from AG. He's competitive as hell, and he's pretty mild-mannered, and he knows how to teach, and great guy. And but, man, when you put him in an environment to where it's competitive, he's a little pit bull now, and he explodes. And guess what? Lynn's not backing down anything either. So there's already been a lot of trash talking between both sides, and I'm talking about, Aubrey and Elle, and so it's going to be, and that's a good thing. It's going to be competitive, and it's going to start with the coaches, and it'll bleed to the players. But these guys are going to compete and scratch and claw for everything, and because I'm telling you, the coaches are going to do it. And it's so, to answer your question, it's poetry in motion, man.
Lou, 2 more. Chris Burke, then Mike.
Hey, Dan. Good morning. You said you told guys they can't make the team this week. I wonder if it goes the other way. I mean, if it's not too vague, how are you evaluating them so you know that these are guys you want to keep around?
Yeah, and here's Chris. This is where it would go the other way. Is look, we do have 5 tryout players, and those guys are being evaluated as to, all right, are we keeping one of these guys? Is there